Hello, everyone. This is Kristie with AG Takes Over. Whether you're watching for the first time or you're a regular viewer, I'm so glad you're here with me. For me, it's this lovely Sunday morning. Who knows for you? Today, my random thoughts were regarding the Girl of the Year, just the line, not Lila in particular. I did not make a Lila-related video. We did go to the release event at the AG store in Columbus. My wife did buy the doll and her accessories, I think. I didn't buy anything Lila related. I don't care one way or the other about her. I did win some things. I won her riding outfit, which we never would have purchased, and I won the little Mighty May dog, which I promptly gave to my 3.5-year-old, and she loves her. But I felt like there were a lot of people doing videos about her. And I don't really believe in creating a video just because it's trending. If I'm excited about it, if excited about a release or something, that I will. But otherwise, I'm content to let people post those videos who are really excited about it. So, no Lila release video from me. But this whole thing about her connection to McKenna got me thinking. It got me thinking along two lines. One, American Girl has started experimenting in the past few years with connecting a girl that they're releasing to a previous doll or previous story. So they did this with Courtney, where she had a Molly doll, which, if you think about it, is kind of like, all right, so she is a doll, but we're supposed to believe she's a character. But she has a doll, which we previously were supposed to believe was a character. So if she knows that, if Courtney knows that the little Molly doll that she has is from a company called American Girl, and that it makes dolls and it makes up stories about them, does she have the meta consciousness? Does she know that that's her situation too? That she's a doll being made up for other people? Anyway, so they did this with Courtney and her little Molly doll. And then they did it again with the Hoffman twins, because Isabel and Nikki have American Girl magazine, and they take like an American Girl quiz, and they have an American Girl of Today shirt on in one of the scenes. So do they realize that they're dolls? Those are actually, I think, a little bit more controversial moves. Like, cute if you just take it at face value and don't think about it, but a little weird if you think about it further. Lila's connection, I think, actually it kind of stands the test of scrutiny a little better, because they have created, a scenario where McKenna is a person still. Like, they tie in. So for those of you who aren't aware, previous Girl of the Year McKenna is now grown up. She's in college, and she was a babysitter to Lila and then becomes her gymnastics coach. I think that's so cool, because here's this world where McKenna was a real person and a real girl with real story. And then she is growing up and now is still tied to a real girl with a real story in this, in this world that American Girl has created. I think that makes more sense. Like, I like the other things, but they just don't, when you look a little closer and you think a little deeper about it, it doesn't make sense. This does. And so it got me thinking, and it got my wife thinking. I said, what would be really cool? Like, it would not go over well with American Girl's largely conservative fan base. But what if there was a doll, and I don't know where she lives, wherever, but maybe her family takes a vacation to Colonial Williamsburg or something. They do something pioneery, settlerish, and she gets interested. And so one of her interests could be genealogy, which they haven't done before. They haven't done a doll that's, to my knowledge, interested in genealogy, certainly not a Girl of the Year. So that would be cool. It's not a super expensive or like elitist kind of hobby, like so many of the things that they have. You can literally just get online or go to the library and do some deep dives into your family's genealogy. So that would be cool in that it's accessible. It would kind of emphasize the early focus of this company, which really was the historical aspect of things. And then I think it could be cool, like maybe after she goes on a vacation and learns a little bit about whatever the early Europeans in that particular area, she makes some comment and maybe one of her parents says, you probably have family from this area, or you probably have family from, our family could have been in this area or during this time period. And she's like, what? Tell me more. And they maybe don't know, this is not a hobby that they're handing down, but they know just a little bit of their family's history. And so she grabs a hold of that and really starts looking into it, asking for her parents' help and guidance, whatever. She's 9. And finds out that Felicity Merriman is one of her ancestors. And I think that would be a cool tie-in. It would be, it would be a first for them to tie in the Girl of the Year line and the historical line and have them still both be real. Right? So they're doing that with Lila and McKenna, but they're both from the Girl of the Year line. But this would be a first of them to tie in both of those, historical and Girl of the Year, and still make both of them be like real people, quote unquote. And because so many people feel like American Girl just conveniently glossed over the Merriman family's complicitness in the slave trade, the books can refer to servants, but her grandfather had a plantation. They were definitely participants in human trafficking. She had a plantation playset available as part of her collection. Like, let's be real. But it would be, and again, this is why it would not be popular with American Girl's conservative customer base. It would be a chance for this new Girl of the Year, my hypothetical Girl of the Year, to kind of face that. How do you reconcile maybe learning things about your family, your direct family, so you can't distance yourself from this, right? Like, how do you reconcile really amazing things like their resilience and their persistence and their ingenuity and other things that you admire about them and you do want to claim and feel like have been passed on, and they're really utterly crappy things, and not just write them off. Maybe there's a period where she just wants to, her family is like, well, those were just the times. And maybe she digs deeper and finds, no, there were people during that time. There were white people with very different views. Not everybody thought this was okay, right? Like, this was something that her family has to take ownership of. I don't know. I'm obviously not the right person to write that story, but I would be first in line to read that story. And I think it would just be, I don't know, they'd probably mess it up. But the idea has potential, I think. I think it would tackle a topic that really doesn't get addressed with any kids that age, right? Not in that way, not in the way that they could do it if they really, put their heart and soul into it. Anyway, so I said that to my wife. We were chatting and I was like, what if, some descendant of Felicity Merriman were the Girl of the Year? And then she starts doing her family history and is like, whoa, ick. And she could kind of work through that and it would be cool. And my wife, Grace, said, I would like to see, if we're going down that rabbit hole, I would like to see a Girl of the Year who's interested. Obviously, you wouldn't do one of these. You could do one or the other or some other version. But a Girl of the Year, same thing, maybe goes on vacation, whatever. Or something sparks her interest in genealogy. And she finds out that she is Addie Walker's descendant, which would be a very different story, but cool for another reason. I think it would be cool. Like, the stories already exist. You wouldn't try to rewrite them, but you maybe could find out that Addie grew up, like things that she did when she grew up. Maybe she founded this thing, or she this really cool accomplishment or contribution, and what her descendants, did throughout time. I just think that would be fascinating. Not my idea, it was my wife's, but I second it, third it, fourth it. Like, yes, please. That would be amazing. So anyway, this is just a short video just to share my morning ramblings. But what do you think about, one, kind of what AG has done with Courtney having a Molly doll and the twins having an American Girl magazine, and like, what's their level of consciousness about their own role in life? Do you like that? Do you like it, but also, I'm kind of in the like it, but don't like it, but see it's problematic camp. What do you think about the way that they've worked McKenna into Lila's stories, whether you've read the book or not, just the concept, the notion of doing that? And what do you think about this idea of, some kind of interest in genealogy prompting a Girl of the Year to find out that she's a descendant of one of the historicals, and kind of a deep dive into that? If you have some storylines, they don't take them. If you send anything to them, you'll get a forum email back saying, "Thank you we do not accept outside suggestions," or something. But they pay attention. They pay attention to what people are saying, and sometimes these things make their way into products. So it doesn't hurt for us to talk about it. What would you like to see in that same vein for a Girl of the Year? All right. On the left-hand side, I'm going to put a playlist so that you don't have to wait for another week to watch another video from my channel. And on the right, I'm going to pick out an older video that's, probably about a year old, one that if you're newer to my channel, you might have missed. So happy binge watching, and I will be back next week. Thanks.